Hello everyone, today's video is just to offer a few tips on how to get the best look from your Crystal Nails Prismatic Crystal Lac Polishes. This is their line of holographic polishes. And this is in response really to some people. I've had several people tell me that they weren't able to get the same kind of linear effect that I've gotten, that I've shown in my pictures or they've seen online on the Facebook pages. And I think it kind of helps to know that these aren't a typical gel polish. If they were, you wouldn't get the beautiful linear effect that you can see on the swatches. And so they had to come up with a formula that basically allows the holographic particles to settle into a nice flat surface and create that very linear effect. So they have a very kind of watery formula. There's an air dry component as well as a UV component in here as well. The UV component is what activates, of course, when you put it into the lamp, and that kind of helps fuse those holographic particles onto the nail plate into that beautiful linear holographic effect. If they had simply taken a clear gel suspension base and put some holographic pigment in there and then you cure that, you'd be left with a very scattered kind of frosty finish rather than the very fiery kind of linear effect that you see here. So if you understand that it really does not behave like a typical gel product, then that might help you get the most out of the polish. So again, just a few tips, what I've learned at experimenting with them. And the first is thin coats are your best friend with this product. I experimented on one swatch and put a couple of thick coats on it, and when I cured it in the lamp, it would not cure even after 4 minutes in the UV lamp. It still was quite tacky and very frosty looking. It did not create that linear effect. So I cured it for another 4 minutes in the lamp, and it finally fused all those particles down, and it gave the linear effect, but it still was not as strong as you see in these samples here. So thin coats are your best friend, and on these swatches I did 3 very thin coats over a clear swatch, and you can see very, very pretty holographic rainbow effect there. So the next thing is, after buying some regular lacquer holographic and using those and then polishing them or topping them with a regular top coat, you could see where that top coat kind of dulled the effect a little bit. If you have a no wipe top coat, and in this case I use the Accents Shine On, if you have a no wipe top coat, this is your best bet for getting the most out of the holographic effect and also wear of your holographic polish. Also, this is a lot like their gel products, their chrome polishes, I should say, that they prefer to have, they behave better, it seems, on a very slick, shiny surface. So what I would suggest if you're applying this to the natural nail is to use your base coat first, then apply a coat of the no wipe top coat, and then apply your holographic polishes. A regular gel top coat with a dispersion layer will actually dull your holographic finish. So I would not suggest that you use any kind of top coat that has a dispersion layer on it. The best bet, if you want the manicure to last for a while is to use the no wipe top coats, and any no wipe top coat should work in this case. And one thing I learned from a friend, from Angela on Facebook, thank you Angela, she's a wealth of information, scientific information, love her to death. She said she learned this from people who do doublet and triplet opal applications, and found that if you apply actually 2 coats of the no wipe, you actually get a more magnified kind of look. And I'm going to show you a sample here. This is the gold, where I did 2 coats of the top coat, no wipe. And here is a regular top coat, 1 coat. And as you can see, it is slightly fierier on the left-hand side with the 2 coats of the no wipe. So thank you, Angela. It really does. It may not come across here on the camera or in pictures very well, but in person it is a noticeable kind of bump up in the holographic rainbow effect. So 2 coats of the no wipe will actually make it look even more holographic. So I'm going to show you really quickly on a swatch what these look like when they're painted on. And then I'm going to show you ones that are done over like a solid color. I'm going to use my silver here. You want to give it a good shake. Get those particles mixed in really well. And again, this is quite, I'm going to see if you can see this, it is quite a watery base. It's not a thick polish at all. And again, there is an air dry component in here, so you'll notice sometimes when you're painting this, it gets a little kind of streaky sometimes. So you kind of want to work quickly. And again, it's best to kind of use a 3-stroke method on this. And it doesn't look like much right now, but after about 3 coats, it will look very, very nice. So once you get your first coat on there, you'll see it does look quite frosty. I'm going to pop that into the lamp, and I am using a UV lamp. And I know that they have said that these can be UV cured, however, LED cured. However, I have tried to use my Gelish 18G LED lamp, and it just would not cure in it. So I've been using the UV lamp 4 minutes for each layer, and that seems to work the best. So I'm going to let that go for 4 minutes, and then we'll be right back. Alright, so there you see you're getting your linear effect, but again, since I'm doing it over the clear, you can't see it quite as much. So once again, we'll do one other thing is if you're not doing this over, I'm not going to use the no wipe over this layer. You can if you want, but if you don't, do not overbrush when you do your second and third layers. I have noticed when you do, you'll get little bald spots, and you don't want that. And I'm just kind of floating the polish. I don't, again, I want to avoid the bald spots, so I just kind of float that extra layer over there. And as you can see, it is quite a frosty finish. And this is what some people were experiencing, this kind of scattered effect rather than the linear effect. So if you're trying to just simply let it air dry, it's going to stay this way, really. You do need that UV cure to fuse those layers down and to give it that linear effect. So again, pop it back into the lamp, and I'll be back. All right. Here we have our second coat, and as you can see, it's quite linear there. And just to give it a little more pop, we'll do one more layer. So here's the before. And here we have our after, 4 minutes in the UV lamp, and you can see very, very fiery holographic effect. So now you're ready to go ahead and top coat this. And another tip is don't leave the top coat sitting too long on your polish. In fact, this is an LED cure top coat, no wipe. So what I like to do is do one nail, flash cure it for a couple of seconds, and then move on to the next nail. The reason is if you let any polish top coat sit on here for any length of time, it's going to kind of unfuse those particles and kind of make them float up into that top coat. So one thin layer here, and again doing 2 can actually help magnify that holographic effect. Pop that in LED. And while that's curing, I'll show you the difference on a regular top dispersion top coat and the no wipe. On the left is the no wipe. On the right is a dispersion layer top coat, and you can see how it dulled that finish significantly. On both of these, I did let the top coat sit for about 30 seconds just to see if there would be any difference, and you can see that the one with the dispersion layer does significantly dull the holographic effect. So that's why I would recommend not using the dispersion layer top coats. So as you can see, we've retained even with the top coat. And if you wanted to add, oops, don't want to spill my precious holographic polish. If you want to add your second layer, you can do that as well. This will also help you keep the manicure on for a longer period of time if that's your wish. And cure that. And while that's curing, I did kind of play around with putting the silver and pink over some other lighter colors. In this case, I did my Madame Glam pink, baby pink and baby blue. And here's the effect you get with those, with the lighter colors. 1 coat each, and my mistake was simply removing the sticky layer and then applying the holographic, and that's where I found that it doesn't, there was still a little bit of tack left to it, a little bit of drag, and it didn't like, the holographic just doesn't like that. So on this one it was a tad bit streaky, but you can still see it's kind of a nice effect. So again, if you are wanting to do this over another color, then I would suggest putting the top coat over it first and then applying your holographic. Now, this is one that Angela showed me over on Facebook. She did it over a purple, and wow, look at that. Gorgeous. This is done over Lachat's Violetta, 2 coats of this color, 1 coat of the no wipe top coat, and then 1 coat of the silver over the Violetta. Beautiful. And the best one, I did 2 coats of the black velvet, 1 coat of the no wipe top coat, and then 1 coat of the silver. And look at this. Wow. That probably the most holographic I've seen of anything that I have. So this looks amazing over black. So to kind of recap, the best way to apply the polish is a base coat, your no wipe top coat next, then 2 or 3 very thin layers of the holographic polish. Cure in a UV lamp. Again, my experience is that's the best way to do it. 4 minutes for each coat, and then to apply your no wipe top coat for a lasting finish. And you should have the same results that you see here. So I hope you guys have found that helpful. And if you have any comments or questions for me, go ahead and leave them down at the bottom in the comment section. And thank you again for everyone's support. And until next time, I will see you guys later.